Is studying abroad only for smart kids? Well, let's find out in this video. Good morning, good morning, good morning! Isang napakagandang umaga. Bom dia, buenos dias, bonjour, and guten morgen. Salam dobry otro, calamera. This is your Filipino hamburger and welcome back to my channel. Well, I have worked as a program coordinator in an international master's program in a public university here in Germany. And because of that, I had the experience to be part of the admission committee and go through the admission process of our international applicants. So in this video, I'll be sharing some insiders and some tips on what are the factors that the admission committee checks upon reviewing your application documents. There are a lot of people asking me do they need to be smart? Do they need to be the best of their class? Do they need to graduate cum laude, summa cum laude, magna cum laude for them to be able to study abroad? Well, I think it's a plus factor, but it's not the only criteria for you to successfully study abroad. I did not graduate cum laude. I graduated as a maybe above average student, but not belonging to the top 1% of our class. And yet, I'm here. I made it. I successfully applied and successfully got an admission in a university where I wanted to do my graduate studies. Plus, I got a scholarship. And yet, I am not the best among the best of our class. Good grades are plus factor, especially if you are applying for a competitive academic scholarship. If you are applying for Ivy League university like Harvard, Yale, Stanford, Princeton, Columbia, and what else, then I guess you have to be serious with your studies now. You have to take things seriously. Do not take things for granted. If you are aiming to study abroad, then you have to be strategic. You have to know your strengths and weaknesses prior to your application. You have to know where to pull up and you have to know where to improve. You have to know your flaws and then work on them, improve them. For example, maybe you're not the best in academics, but then you are the best when it comes to leadership. So be involved, be active, join clubs, join student organizations, be engaged with the student government. Run for a position in the student government if it's for you. If you were born a leader, then it will come naturally. Then use that. Bank on that. Run for a position in the student government. Be the leader. Be the best leader that your organization could ever have. Well, aside from the leadership skills, what's next? Your community engagement. You know? The admission committee will check if you did volunteering work in your community. Did you, let's say, help maybe in a relief good operation? Or maybe you joined a coastal clean area drive, or maybe you went for a tree planting event. Or let's say you and your friends organize fundraising activity. Or maybe you are involved in organizing medical missions or dental missions, you know? So activities like this matter. If you have done this, or if you are still doing this while pursuing your studies, your basic education, then I'm telling you, you have big chance of getting that admission. I've heard crazy stories like rich kid organizing a tree planting activity in a country XYZ just to show that she or he has an involvement in their community. But in fact, it's just, you know, a show. Because the admission committee will check if you are well engaged in your community. Are you participating? Are you being active or idle? So, that's what you have to watch out. And that's one of the things that you need to focus on as early as possible. Because if you wait to start doing this in the last semester of your studies, then it will look fake. It will not look genuine. And then, mind you, the admission committee will know if you are doing it genuinely or just for a show. Aside from leadership, community engagement, what's next? Experience. For example, you are done with your bachelor's already and applying for a master's degree abroad. Then it's a plus, a big factor if you have already your professional experience back home. How many years, in which organization or which company, what was the role? You know, what were your achievements while doing this job? If you are working in a field where the program you are applying for is super connected or aligned, then I'm telling you, whoo, bingo! Talking about experience, we are not just talking about professional experience here, but also your internship, your traineeship, or your volunteering work in that company or in that organization. If your experience is well connected and well aligned to the program you are applying for, I'm telling you, you got the jackpot. Aside from experience, it's also important to be strategic. Who are you going to ask for recommendation letters? You know, you have to be smart here. Do not ask that professor who hated you. Do not ask that professor who gave you, I don't know, a satisfactorily mark. You know what you can do best? If you are applying for a scholarship for a graduate studies, then ask your thesis supervisor. Ask your academic mentor because they know you better. They know your research skills. They know your capacities. They can write a good recommendation for you. And now, if your professor is one of those professors who have like left and right, front and back job, that person for sure would ask you to draft your recommendation letter. I mean, I'm not saying that you exaggerate when drafting your recommendation letter because at the end, he or she would still check it, but then, you know, try to sell yourself. Because there are professors or lecturers who just don't know how to write it, or they don't know how to sell you, and that might affect your chance of getting the jackpot prize, which is the admission. Okay, so I already mentioned about leadership. I already mentioned about community engagement, your experience, and recommendation letter. What's next is your curriculum vitae. Please, por favor, bitte, s'il vous plaît. Guys, avoid downloading template from the internet when you are preparing your curriculum vitae or resume. Because your personality should reflect on your curriculum vitae. Try to develop your own curriculum vitae. Format it the way you want it to be. But please, make it minimalist. Don't overdo it, okay? Don't add colorful borders with this I don't know. You know what I mean. Because I don't know what I mean. No, but you know what I mean. Don't add colorful borders or lines or designs or symbols on it because they won't take you seriously. I'm telling you. I mean, you are applying for an admission. You are not applying for, or you're not auditioning for an art exhibit. You can be creative. You can add colorful borders or symbols on it if you are applying for an art major program. But if not, please, por favor, bitte, s'il vous plaît. No, avoid that, okay? Avoid that because they will not take you seriously, or maybe they would, but then it's rejected. Well, aside from developing your own curriculum vitae, a very important, essential, pivotal, I don't know whatsoever factor that admission committee checks is your motivation letter. Spend a lot of time developing your motivation letter. Trust me, Your motivation letter is the only way, or one of the major ways, that the admission committee will get to know you better. Because that's the only chance, especially if there are no interviews, that's the only chance that you deliver, or that you can deliver your message why they should give you that admission place or that admission spot to you and not to the others. Your motivation letter should well thought, well planned, and the flow should be consistent. And please, please, please avoid being dramatic. I want to change the world because I grew up in a poor country and la la la. I mean, yes. I mean, they know where you're coming from. They know the social, cultural, political situation of your country. But you have to be smart and be objective and be strategic when drafting your motivation letter. I mean, this is not a drama competition. I'm telling you, you are not the only one who would be that dramatic when writing their motivation letter. I have been part in admission committee and I have seen a lot of motivation letters saying the same thing, like, I want to change the world, I came from a poor country, I want to help my family. Yes, these are important, these are given facts, but the question is, why? Why is this admission very important for you or to you personally? Not for the family, not for the country, but you first, you. Well, this admission will help me realize my dreams to be a good leader who would implement policies, who would implement green policies in my community. For example, okay, that was a lame example, but you know what I mean. Don't be dramatic. Don't use your pity card, because the admission committee, especially if they're coming from another culture, they would find it out, this is so dramatic. Next, they want people who are tough. They want people who are confident, strategic, and know what they want to do and where they want to go. So just for the information of everyone, based on experience, these criteria will be assessed individually. So for example, your academic records will get 40% of the entire points, and then the remaining 60% will be coming from your leadership skills, community engagement, experience, motivation letter, recommendation letter. So what I'm trying to say here is, if you, the viewer, if you are not happy with your academic performance or academic records, then try to bank or focus on the other factors. Work on your leadership skills, engage in your community, ask the nicest and kindest professors you have to write your recommendation letter. Gain a lot of experience. It doesn't matter if it's internship, a traineeship, a voluntary work, as long as it helps you build up your credentials. And mind you, it will change your chance. If you do these things, if you focus on the other factors aside from your academic records, you will have a higher chance of getting that admission from your dream university. Trust me. Trust me! If you're watching this video and you're one of those average students or more than above average students, I'm telling you, I made it and you will too. Just trust the process and just keep trying until you succeed. This is super cliche, but try and try and try until you succeed. Well guys, thank you for staying until the last minute of this video, and please don't forget to subscribe, share, and comment below if you have questions or suggestions, because I will do my best to engage as quick as possible. And once again, this is your Filipino hamburger who wants to say that your good grades may be a plus factor, but at the end of the day, your dedication, your hard work, your diligence, your community engagement, your leadership skills, and your personal genuine motivation will make your application more successful. See ya!